Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hyperefficient Startup. Let's go! Okay, I'm not actually as excited about this episode as it might look because I thought that. So, I'm doing business review right now, business literature review, and the goal for this is to create actionable points, also known as action points, that I can use to create new content for that will augment the sales, and that would kind of that would be just a very easily doable tasks that I can just delegate to someone, right? So I call them orange for the tasks, for the homework, as I call it, for me to solve, to learn the process of sales, gap selling. And I mean, obviously we are not close to sales yet. We, for the time being, we're doing mostly prospecting. Yeah. So obviously, sales, gap sales book has an article, a section about it. And obviously there is Harmozy, which I mentioned already in the previous video, with his $1 million leads. And to perform these activities, right, I have to do some groundwork. I need to make sure that I actually thought about stuff very, very, very deeply. And this is the reason why I love gap selling. Like, another reason why I love gap selling book is that the author actually is asking the reader non-rhetorical questions. And I think that more books should do should do something like this, instead of translating the ultimate truth, because honestly there is no ultimate truth. Every rule that you come up with to guide social processes can actually have exceptions. It's not theorems, so instead of rules, it sets you up with some questions that you answer, and you learn more about your product, and you learn more about your own path to both product market fit and to successful sales negotiations. So my plan is to spend 2 days per book, basically. So I reread a book and I mark it up completely with the orange and red things. Red things are, as I said already, items that can be translated to directives or to tasks that I can delegate. We will have a look at it in a bit. But the reason why why I shouldn't be as excited or as happy as I am, for no good reason, is that I planned to have been done by now already with the first book I'm working on, which is gap selling. Sadly, it's not the case. Today, I kind of changed the plan a little bit to support the co-founder. My co-founder, she was on like a conference where there are like people, like at the carousel conference, right, where you travel from room to room. And you present and present and present and present, and obviously she needed to present, and she wanted to have like a baseline idea about what to say about zero HR in a very, very succinct way, in as succinct way as possible, and just present our product. So and I was doing that, and then we were like, our website is shit. And then we were talking about strategy and remaking the website. Actually, I'm curious about how long our call was. It was 16 minutes. It's okay. It's not that bad. I think for 16 minutes the meeting was reasonable. So and the outcome of this was, hey, I'm gonna go back to the website and do some small fixes. One of which is weird because I could swear I did it. but the logos disappeared again. I don't know. The logos of Dev2 and Medium on the bottom. So yeah, I will need to go do some fixes, and I was tried to be tasked with doing continued work on the website, but I personally don't see a great value there. I think that what the best idea is that I can just document the way to work on the website and then give it out to other people so that I can go back to my plan, which I find the most impactful one as it stands. So let's have a look at a little bit at the day one of me marking up the sales book. Yeah, so essentially what we see here is we see a study set which is one of many study sets, right? I use a lot of I use MarginNote, so the application is called MarginNote 4. I use it for many things, reading books, reading papers, reviewing papers, reviewing theories even, and then having multiple papers in the one study set, and I can make my own references from one paper to another. Even old school like DOS, like 90s, 80s, 90s games manuals I have here, and I can annotate important bits, or for example, if there is like piracy check in the game manual, which was a big thing in the 90s, where you didn't have DRM and they would just put a piracy check, put a secret into the manual, and to pass some level you have to actually read the manual, because otherwise you couldn't pass it. So yeah, that is what I use MarginNote for everything. And here I started another study set, this one, business review, right? And here I have added the 4 books I talked about in the Shadow Library episode. And you can see that all 4 books exist at the same time in the same environment. And as I mentioned before with the theory study sets, right, I can interlink these books with each other. So I can have a card that mentions something from one book, and it also has a reference in itself to another book. And I can click and I can jump to locations, and it all happens very swiftly, which is an amazing part of this application that I absolutely am in love with. So let's have a look at the progress that I have made and the way that I approach literature review when I need to extract action points out of literature. So I already mentioned orange and red cards, and also Mr. Burton had an amazing song called Orange and Red Beams. I strongly suggest everyone to listen to it. So whenever I say orange and red, I'm thinking of beams. Anyhow, so this is the crux of why we're doing this, right? Orange ones is homework, right? Actually, if you're reading a textbook, your orange, ones will be the homework that you need to do. The red ones are the red cards are directives that are not not related to the book, but that we think are good activities to do related to some part of the book, right? For example, here we see yellow, truth 5, sales are emotional. Red, which we can turn buying 0HR into a game, right? And I also have blues, and blues are kind of notes that I believe are true, and I thought about, so these are like thoughts that we had while thinking about some aspects of the book that we're reviewing, or the document that we're reviewing. Right. For example, here we're talking about the threats to change. Right. The um, Harvard Business School person was like, okay, why are people change averse? And they or she um, figured it out, right, in a publication. And then we're going top to bottom, right, and we're thinking about each one of those. And this is how blue cards, for example, come into play. And when I know precisely to whom I delegate something, obviously this may not apply if you're like studying all by yourself, or if you're a solo entrepreneur or whatever. I will just make like a standalone card, like a purple one, and I will put links from it to other cards. So this dotted line you see here are links. I hope that removing a link will be easy, so I'll show you an example. So we click link, and we can link anything to anything, and this will create a bidirectional link, so you will be able to refer from one card to another and from another to the one. Yeah, let's see how easy it is to delete. I guess I'll try backspace. No, it didn't work. Okay, I don't know, I clicked something that disappeared. Link. Yeah. Let me add it again. Let's try this. Okay. So it jumped. It was an illusion. Let's just add it again. Triple dot. Yeah, that is problematic. Oh my god. Wow, you can duplicate by linking. Okay, I think that we'll have to do it like this. I think we'll have to click here, then cut and paste. Nope, it saved it. Okay, let's click here, past resentments. Let's delete it from here. Yeah, it's funny. I thought that there was. So remember how I was hesitant to show you this feature, and I thought that there was a bug there in MarginNote 3, but I kind of, first of all, I didn't remember about it, and second of all, I thought they fixed it. Okay, well, we deleted the link by deleting the card and re-importing it again. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, and you can link all across, all along the watchtower. Yeah, you can click on here, and it will create a new window showing us what's up. You can like click around here and blah blah blah. I think you could even delete the card from there or something. So anyway, this is MarginNote for you. This is my organizational strategy when it comes to strategy when it comes to the organizing the information. And I mean, the way I'm reading is pretty. It's almost linear. It's a little bit non-linear. So what I do is I first, get the summary. So I don't do the good way where you scan the book, because I actually scan the book without taking notes, or without taking many notes at least. Yeah, just as a PDF, I just go bam, 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 bam. but it's important to scan the book before you start taking notes. Yeah, so you have to know what is in the book. And actually, audiobooks on like X 2.5 really help, right? You will not retain anything. All the executives who claim that they retain information when they listen on 2.5. I mean, I'm listening on 2.5s for I don't know, almost 10 years, a little bit less. No retention. Yeah, you maybe retain some good idea if you stop and think. Like if you click a stop and you're like, okay, wow, that was a cool. I will remember it, right? But I normally just go top to bottom. My brain is engaged. I'm thinking about tangential things when I'm listening to the audiobook. I can also walk, get fresh air, enjoy the nature, and still have my brain engaged with material that forces me to think about useful stuff, right? It's not like I have problems with thinking about useful stuff, but that's that's a trick. So and after you're done with the audiobook, you can now read for real. Yeah, I can't emphasize this enough. You have to know the material to review it. Like I'm like now reading perhaps slower than I would read when I would read the book, because I have to like I'm scanning a lot, right? But for the things that matter, like for example this whole page, like I read like every single fucking word here, okay? So then I will linear reading is very understandable. Everyone does linear reading, but I want to emphasize the small non-linearity component that I have while reviewing, for example, gap selling, and this is the approach that I take when I review books. There sometimes are core concepts, and sometimes core concepts, well, almost always, right? And sometimes core concepts are first defined and then elaborated on, right? Or like here, for example, there is the core concept of discovery. It is first introduced, what it is, and then they talk about how to do it. Yeah. So in this particular case, it is very detrimental, in my opinion, to follow the narration of the book. To say, okay, we have looked at the concept, at what it is, then we'll talk about a couple other concepts, and then in our review we create another block, another pane like this one that we're looking at right now, and say, okay, let's revisit to this concept. Yeah. In a book, you have no choice. You have to introduce all the concepts and then elaborate. But in a review, you have to. It's your responsibility to make sure that you actually put things that are within the same conceptual frame, in the same physical frame in the review, because otherwise you're just doing yourself a huge disservice. Yeah? No one wants to read this column, then scroll somewhere and read that column, right? You have your links, you have your two-dimensional capabilities, and you should do that. The thing I personally am not that happy about is kind of discoverability of things in the mind map itself. There is a search, and I can write PIC, and I can click. Sorry. Oh wait, hold the door. Hold the door. This is this is not right. There is a search like this. Yeah, I can write here PIC, and I can, group by color, and I can remove filter for purple. Yeah. What the fuck? Okay, so here the filter is removed. Now I can search for PIC. Yeah, I don't know. It's here. It is PIC orange. Yeah. Let's try again. Okay, so we can write BIC here. And it created a view. Okay, this is actually kind of great. Okay, wow, I didn't know that. Cool. Complex search. Wow. New filter. Wow, this is beautiful. So I can write here customer. Sorry, what? That didn't work out. Okay. Beautiful. Oh my god, this is holy fuck. And it also will remember. Complex search. Beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. If you look at this app and you're like not going like holy shit, I need this in my life, I don't know what's wrong with you. Why is purple hiding from me? Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, so that is searching, right? So I wanted to say that the one thing that I don't particularly like is specifically when you create so there are two types of nodes, right? One type of node is the text node, and the other type of node is the image node. Node, sorry, also node. And the issue is that if you just create a frame node and forget about it, then this bit will not be searchable because there is no text attached. So the only like annoyance is that for me to be able to find, like for example, this is like the key item that we're working with right now in 0HR, like problem identification chart, because it should inform our prospecting. So for me to find PIC, if I didn't label it, it would be impossible. And this is actually something that came up recently, and I was like, oh shit, I have to remember to label you know, my non-text nodes. But this is literally like the only grudge I have, and the other one was you can't delete links, which is whatever, or at least I don't know how to. Okay, anyway, I got to page like 69. Nice. No, I got to page like 72 out of 195, and it's a bit annoying because actually prospecting is the last section and it's the most important section for us right now. So I don't know how I'm going to continue with this, given that I have to actually, you know, get back to website at least for a little bit, at least with the README and with the small fixes. So I don't think that I'm going to be doing this today. But yeah, basically the idea is that it's 2 days per book, 4 books. Obviously, not every book is the same size, right? For example, this has a bit more fluff and it's a bit less dense. So probably I'll process this in 2 days. This is just a booklet, yeah. So I'll probably process it in one day, and this is 302 pages of dense shit. Like it's very, very dense. So I will have probably 3 days to do this. Yeah, and the idea here is that after I reviewed this like key books, I also want to read 0 to 1, because I think that 0 to 1 is like literally what we need right now. So after I review this 4 books, read book number 5, I will be in a situation where I see what intersects between the 4, right? When it comes to, for example, prospecting. I'd be like, okay, these are the orange and red cards that actually need to be done, right? Because I identified a lot of orange and red cards already in just looking at the 72 pages, but no one says that they will have high business impact. So intersect the books, filter out the shit from the good books, take only the diamonds, find the intersections between them, act on intersections, and then proceed based on the theory, getting shit done. That's it. It was a longer episode because it was kind of spanning 1.5 days, 2 days. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.